So this is the work that has kept me busy today. It's not very much, but it's planting the live fence called Kayava, which is this sharp thorny seedlings of this sharp thorny plant. This one I've used just to protect the ones that I've planted, so that goats, which normally bypass here and then keep on chewing on everything that I've planted, are not able to get to the seedlings until they are fully grown, and at least until they are sturdy enough to produce thorns. Then they remain safe. It doesn't look like it's a lot of work, but it has taken me most of the day, this together with tidying up the rest of the house. Like I told you, I had found someone who had done a not so good job, so I've had to repeat most of the work today again, just to ensure that the place looks a bit more tidier and better. So three of us worked hand in hand. I told you that I like when the fence can be seen to be clear cut like that, so that you can see from one end to the other. And then we've cleared most of the compound, but I have a guest now, so I'm not going to show you everything, but basically we've done as much as was possible for today. So I'll talk to you later. Hello people, and good morning. Good morning and welcome to my channel. Thank you very much. Oh my goodness, I'm trying to wipe my eyes, but they still look so sticky and everything. It's early morning. It's about 7:30 in the morning. Yesterday I was unable to totally vlog at all because I got so busy. Actually, that's why my eyes are red. I was so busy from morning because I was planting a live fence on the outside, and right now I want to go and do some watering because it didn't rain at night and it might not rain today, and I don't want to take any chances, so I want to go and do some watering. Welcome to the channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Wandia. I'm Kenyan and I'm a content creator who is a retired person. I'm older. I just turned 60 recently, and I live in Kenya. This where I'm standing right now is my garden. This is the garden on the side of the house, not at the back of the house. The back of the house has a compound that I co-share with my sisters, and that is not developed. So the section that I've developed, we share 3 people a piece of land. So the section I've developed is just my bit, and then a whole other 2/3 of the compound is undeveloped, and that's where I do my farming. Not a lot of farming, just a bit of subsistence farming. So yesterday I was cleaning the compound. I had called someone in, then a friend also came and she helped me a lot. And there's some piles of wood on the fence that need moving, and she wanted to come again today, and I like my personal space so much, and as much as I know she was of a great help, I just told her no, don't come today. So I'm going to look for, I'd rather just have someone whom I can pay and they do the work. When you have a friend over, that means you have to talk with them, you have to sit with them, you have to entertain them, and when you talk too much, you always, I don't know, for me, I just have my moods, and I told her no, thanks a lot, you did a lot yesterday, but today I'd rather you don't turn up at all. But she was of great help, a lot of great help, and I appreciated her a bit because we did a lot of work. Actually, while the young man that I had commissioned was slashing and clearing the compound, I was raking and picking up the grass and dumping it in the field at a select spot, so that once it dries, because it's so damp, it's been raining continuously, so the grass, even as it's getting slashed, it's very damp, but the ground is going to dry much easier and faster when the grass is short. Yeah, that's going to help. So I also planted some spinach and kales and other and green peppers, and I need to water them right now. So it's a lot of watering to do. Yesterday I was just too tired to do anything, so that's what I'm going to do now, and then get preparing for the day. Yeah, so welcome to the channel. Thank you very much for all of you who've been giving the channel support by subscribing, by liking, commenting, sharing. I appreciate it. I don't take it for granted. I welcome you to the family of this Wandia_KE. Please tell a friend and karibuni is welcome in Kiswahili. For welcome to many. If it's welcome to one, it's karibu. So I welcome you to join the channel, to keep supporting. And right now I have to start doing the watering in case it doesn't rain today. All the crops that I planted need to be watered. So thank you for the support and welcome. Let's walk. Hello, it's afternoon and I'm on my way out of the house briefly. It's a lovely day. It's not been sunny, it's not been cold, it's just been cloudy but warm. The weather is just beautiful. It's nice weather. I was busy all morning doing physical work, even after yesterday's work, but yeah, sometimes I feel more energetic, and I realize that I have a burst of energy when I fill myself up properly for 3 continuous meals. That is breakfast, lunch, dinner. The next morning I wake up very, very energetic. So this weight loss thing of mine is not good for when I'm working hard. And I think I had a meal that had potatoes in it for every one of 3 meals in the day before yesterday, and that's why yesterday I had so much energy. But now I can't afford that all the time. It would make me, I don't think it would make me so heavy, but I just think it's very heavy for if I'm not working hard. But since I'm anticipating this week I'll be doing quite a lot, that's going to be my menu. I mean, not necessarily potatoes, but I'm going to make sure there's a motorbike passing, that I'm eating heavy in preparation for heavy work during the daytime, because I have to tend to the flowers this week and the tree seedlings, and then the farm, the little kitchen garden, until it takes root, the plants take root properly. So yeah, I'm going to beef myself up properly, not literally beef with beef, but just having heavy meals and ditching the weight loss schedule for a while. Recently there was a case of a young child who was brought into the limelight for caring for his siblings. His name is Tito, and Kenyans did what they usually do. Once the story was highlighted, a lot of assistance came through. He's going back to school. He was partially out of school so that he could take care of his mother and siblings, and the family is now well catered for. But in all this, one thing that was very noticeable and distressing for me was the issue of the mother. So it happens to be that the mother is, I can say, a careless woman. She separated from the father of the children, and even the way she's been treating the boy, you know. I mean, when you have a 14-year-old even asking you questions like, who is the father of the child, it's because the boy has noticed that you're periodically careless parent, and you neglect them. You neglect the children. And of course, as the interviews went on, more and more about her character came to light, and I can't call her a very caring mother, but I'm not here to judge her. But I was listening to the person who's been very instrumental in connecting them with assistance from other people, from different sources. I don't know whether he's a pastor, but there was a name he was being called, so I wouldn't know. I didn't really follow up. But what I noted was that when the children's issues were sorted, and then the mother, who is not literate, or who is not very literate, was asked what she could do. She said she used to do vending of vegetables, and that's a business she'd like to do. And then the issue of assumed transparency and assumed accountability, as I'd like to call it, came to the fore for me. Because what this person said is that the assistance that they are getting from well-wishers, he had spoken to the school where he had the eldest son, the one who was responsible for the family, enrolled, and he has spoken to the administration so that funds would continue to come in endlessly and pay for the child's education for 4 years or 5, whatever it was. And then he said some total of 80,000 Kenya shillings. That's about That's about $700 would be put aside to start a vegetable business for the mother. And now I was looking, and I was like, look at this man. With all due respect, I mean, he's done a lot to the family. But where would you take a person who has already shown so much carelessness? She's obviously never been able to handle her business well. If she had gotten to the point of the children sleeping hungry, being fed by neighbors, and the eldest son leaving school at 14 years to cater for his siblings for more than a year, for more than 2 years in fact, where would you think of putting up a $700 business for her? To do what? Who are you fooling? I mean, how without any empowerment, how is that supposed to assist her? Because if my opinion was to be asked, this is a woman who needs to be taken into training. Money matters, financial management, but that would come if she's in college for something, some technical know-how, to learn a skill. And to learn a skill that would be possible for her to utilize in assisting her children, in bringing up her children, something useful for the place they are in, and something that she could utilize wherever she goes. But saying that you're going to give, and how are you going to, what's the accountability of that, of putting $700 into a business? How did you get to that figure? What kind of vegetables are you going to put up for her? What store is? And he spoke about getting them a piece of land. And I was like, you're trying to remove these people wholly from the fact that they come from families. This woman has a family she comes from. These children have a father, whether he's been negligent or not. We have land inheritance in Kenya. So definitely these children must have. And they had spoken about their grandfather who had been welcoming of them. So if you would ask the clan where the grandfather comes from, though the grandmother was against their being assisted, plus some uncles and the father, you'd probably get somewhere where you'd be told that these children have a right to a certain piece of land. And that's where you should construct for them. And I would expect that the next logical thing would be to open up a trust for them. Why do you want to tell well-wishers to keep on posting money to a certain school anonymously? Well, I can call it anonymously because who's going to be keeping count? Where is there going to be a record? At least a GoFundMe is something definite. It has a time period. You're going to know exactly how much money there is, and then you can account for it, and you can say so such amount was given to the school in consideration that in some years the school fees rates might go up. But again, why just put money in a school for 4 years? Huh? You could put that money into money market funds, different ones, because people are not going to keep on supporting this child without any accountability for the next 4 years. No. As you rightly said, as the person who was assisting rightly said, people will assist for only a certain period. So in this period that they're assisting, make the period have a timeline also, because there are so many needy people coming up. There are so many things to do. We are getting into elections, and you don't know what the mother is going to do in a period to come. People give up when they see things that are not pleasing them. Huh? So you can't just make everything infinite, that whenever people will stop, like they'll just keep on donating, like who are just going to write, checks to continue for the next 4 or 5 years. So in my opinion, more and more as we are helping people, let us look into long-term solutions. Trust funds. Trust funds are better able to manage monies that are being set aside, that are being collected, that are being collectively accumulated from different people to assist families. This issue of just putting money in the bank, yeah, and leaving it very vague that a certain person is going to be taking care of this money. No, why don't you put it in a sort of arrangement where there's a payout once every 3 months, and you've already made a calculation as to how much the family or the individual will need in every given month for all purposes that are required, all responsibilities, financial responsibilities that are needed in that home or in that person's life. But this generalization Kenyans are having, that we collect funds and then so much is going to be put in school, that is only said in the now. And then after a short while you start hearing people saying, oh, money was badly spent, it was misused, this person did not do that, because we don't have financial know-how. People are not told how to handle money. And when large sums of money are being collected for an individual, and then you're leaving it into the care of the person who has acted as the coordinator of the funds, we are getting into danger, because you're assuming that the person coordinating the funds is responsible, is going to be responsible. And in so many instances, we've seen that these are the same people who are getting into those funds and utilizing them for their own needs and requirements. So this was just, by the way, for me, because I got so concerned for this young child, especially because I can see a likelihood of it getting to a point where, because there's nobody really being, that the persons in charge of the funds are answerable to, it might reach a place where the lifestyle of the people are being compromised, where the promises that were made, buying a piece of land, educating the rest of the children and everything, is just compromised. And then who will be there to come out as a public prosecutor on their behalf? Because they'll need to be proof. And where will the proof need to be required to be gotten from? And you'll be answering to who? Because this is somebody willingly offering themselves, sacrificing their time, sacrificing their energy, sacrificing their know-how to come and assist this other person and take in charge of their finances. But you're coming to question in what capacity? So let us more and more stick to what is known, tried and tested in other parts of the world, and by people who have money. I mean, it would do very well if a lot of the philanthropists that are around in Kenya would start giving some assistance, start giving some talks in public, just advising the general public on which are the best ways to manage funds set aside for individuals, especially individuals coming from very vulnerable and needy homes who do not have the capability, because even there's some of the people who are fundraising for them, they do have capability to manage their own finances, but when they now have the extra job of long-term financial management of monies for another homestead, and they become compromised in how well they can manage that, and especially if it's for a long period of time. But let's stick towards more of empowering women and youth when they're in such situations, and even men, especially if they are coming in from drug and alcohol abuse, substance abuse. Let us veer more towards giving them some skills development before money is put into their hands, and let us reach out to families just to find out some of the basic details, like if they have available land before running to buy them land, and if they have existing relatives or existing shares somewhere, or existing if they've been bequeathed something which can be utilized, and then more of the money can be saved. But more and more, rather than just have the benefactor having to do their shopping, having to manage their money, put these monies in places where they can have payouts and get insurance for people. Get last rights insurance, get life insurances for these people. Just equip them to be better off, to have generational wealth starting from that point, because the kind of money that Kenyans are raising is it's a lot, and I'm just seeing a lot of possibility of it getting wasted away, and these people reverting back to the to the very vulnerable lifestyles that they had before, and almost, let's say, regressing back exactly to the point at which they were rescued. If not much is done, because again, if they fall into depression because of that, there'll be a real fear that they might get into bad or worse situations. So I'm wishing you well. Happy Saturday. Thanks for keeping on my channel. Be blessed. Remember to like and to subscribe. Keep it at this one dear _KE. Tell a friend to tell a friend. To the newest subscribers, I thank you very much. I see you and I appreciate you. And so from Ruai in Nairobi of magical Kenya, it's bye-bye.